There! Perfect. It looks just like me. Yeah, no. I recently found out I wasn't the only person who would make their sona hella white. And it makes me wonder, why did a lot of people of color in the art community whitewash themselves? Okay, now wait. I'm sure this comes from some type of internal racism or feeling a need to fit into a community that hardly had any diversity, but it's kind of funny to think about. And sad, really. But kind of funny, because ain't no way I was sitting at the dinner table showing my mom my self-portraits that had pinned straight hair after she just spent the whole afternoon putting my 4C hair in a bun. When I was younger, I had a gacha channel that had around 800 subscribers, and everyone in my school knew about it. And not to brag, but I was considered kinda cool for it. Unfortunately, that was also the first time I got a sketchbook giving me the power to draw pictures of my characters, specifically my main OC / persona named, and y'all cannot flame me for this, Potato with an E. Thankfully, nowadays, I'm no longer shitting myself in fear of showing my real skin color, but after discovering this whole whitesona thing and seeing it on TikTok, I wanted to revisit, my deep, dark past and see if I can turn it into something actually worth working on. And low-key, I'm probably not going to ever think about these guys after this, because I don't care enough, and this is just for fun. Okay, so while working on this project, I found a couple of screenshots of Potato, and for the sake of myself, I'm going to call her PP, because I refuse to actually refer to someone as that. And a ton of memories came flooding back to me, so I would try to summarize her story to the best of my ability. Okay, so PP was experimented on in a lab. I mean, who the hell wasn't at this point, bruh? Everyone in their OCs had someone in a lab. Okay, and then time passed and she attended a college with her best friend N and her friend Christian. They hated each other because they both liked PP and wanted to be around her all the time, but at the same time there was this guy, let's call him Tyler, who would make moves on her, but forcefully, and PP didn't know how to react, so she stayed silent about it until one day Christian caught him making advancements, but because he was too shy, I guess, he couldn't say anything. I think that's where the story ends. So yeah, no one was fully fleshed out in whatever story that was. Everyone was kind of dull. The story was boring, but to be fair, I hadn't been on Earth for too long at this point, so I think I get a pass for this one. I feel like there's no salvaging this whatsoever, so I'm scrapping everything except for PP's age, which I assume is 18 to 23 since she did attend college. At least I think it was a college. They slept there, so I would assume so. And her name's not PP anymore, obviously. In this new story, PP is a computer science major and super into coding. When she was a kid, she would work all day and night on a game that would be scrapped because of how bad the code was. She never got rid of it, and she kept it stored on her old family computer. Her dream has been to always create a game that would get super popular, but like all things, college demolished that fantasy completely. She lost all motivation and she feels out of control of her own life. Her friends have been getting distant, her boyfriend has put their relationship quote-unquote on a break, and her grades have been getting shitty. One night when she was walking home, she comes across a missing poster with her name and photo on it. Thinking someone put it as a prank, she crumbles a photo, goes home, completes some homework, and goes to bed. When she wakes up, she's in a different world. One that seems familiar yet so distant, forgotten, refreshing yet lifeless, colorful yet limited. She recognizes it as it follows a similar aesthetic to the game she made as a child. At that moment is when she realizes she's trapped in her own creation, forgotten and left behind. And while she's in control and capable of anything in this world, she still feels lost and without a sense of direction. Whew. My god. Basically what I'm trying to say is that PP was forgotten. No one really cared about her, so her mind and memories, whatever, transferred to the only part of her left that people still did remember. I think I'm gonna make it so that someone in her life remembers the game that she made, but not exactly her, so that's why she's still somewhat alive. I don't know. I'll work on it. Maybe not. Who knows? That's all I could come up with. And while it may not make sense out loud, it makes sense in my head, and that's literally all that matters. I mean, you matter too, but I matter more right now. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm projecting onto her right now, so I guess that makes it more of a persona. So while redrawing PP, she kind of reminded me of the Fritiger Arrow aesthetic that's been getting popular recently. I think that's how you say it. And while I was going to redesign her completely after redrawing her, I kind of decided to stick with the original concept. Even though the color scheme is like limited and blue is actually my least favorite color, it's so simple and just pleasing to look at, so I kept it. The aesthetic itself is cool and it reminds me of like my old laptop that had Windows XP and my old family computer. Rest in peace and a whole year strong. It kind of creeps me out. Maybe that's just me, but I don't know. Like it feels so empty and lifeless despite all like the fish and the ocean life. It just feels like dull in a way I can't describe. I don't know. Out of all the Fruitigers, I think Metro has to be my favorite because I like the way it looks. It's so fun and colorful and I don't know. But not Frutiger Arrow. It freaks me out too much. I also decided to draw her as a college student beforehand and it's nothing special like at all. I came up with it just like in my head. No concept, none of that. It is slightly inspired by 2010's fashion since I think that that's when I want the story to take place. Someone I know recently wore that outfit, so thanks for the inspo. I also drew a couple of sketches and a mixed media photo. The first one is PP before her transformation. I like to think that she has horrible luck and she's gotten used to it by now. So like maybe one day before a lecture she spills coffee on herself and has no time to go back and change, so she has to sit in it for like 3 hours. Poor PP. And the other sketch is more depressing because it's just her trying to find her spark again to create and nothing's coming to mind. So the mixed media photo is just PP in the Frutiger Arrow world she created. Why did I pause like that? It's supposed to be mysterious and empty and I don't know. Going back to the whole whitesona topic, I feel like a lot of black people, or once again people of color in general, felt out of place because not a lot of people had darker skin or showed themselves with darker skin. A lot of personas and OCs were white or some type of unnatural color. I think that forced a lot of people to follow along to that trend. I don't think I even remember any black gacha YouTubers or popular animation YouTubers that were of color. If you know any, then you know, good for you. But thankfully that our community has progressed and I see all types of, you know, people contribute to it and it's so nice to see. It's actually really heartwarming. I love black people. We're so great. Yeah. Here's the finished everything. And once again, I could probably deep dive about this, but that's not what I'm on this platform for. I'm here for a good time, not a long time type shit, bro. Low-key someone else could do that, and I'm down to listen. That's kind of it. If you had a whitesona or just like an experience in general related to whatever I talked about, let me know. I want to hear it, and I'm nosy as fuck, so bye-bye.